here. Yeah, that's right. Whoa. Oh, well, hi guys. I didn't see you were here. How are you guys doing this morning? Yeah, I was looking at my mirror here. You see my mirror? You guys know you all have one of those too? You probably didn't know that, did you? Well, you do. Now, I heard somebody told me that a couple weeks ago, I don't know if you were all here, but some of you that were, does anybody recall a guy by the name of Old Mr. Ancient telling a story? Some of you guys remember that? Can you tell me what he talked about? Because I heard him, he was telling a story. Like, what was it about? Yes?
It was about Leon the leopard.
Really? What happened to Leon the leopard? What else was it about? I mean, can you tell me more about it? Anybody else have any more details? Yeah.
The because man came and he just went on his way and then
The because man helped?
Then man came and he saw Leon the leopard, but he was going on his way.
Oh, gotcha.
And then the because man came and he healed Leon the leopard.
That is interesting. So it's kind of like the if then man was, he was like all focused on, let me see, I'm going to look at myself. He don't look like me, I'm going to keep going. Is that kind of what he was doing? Interesting. Well, guess what, guys? I talked to old Mr. Ancient the other day, and he told me a story that I thought was pretty fascinating. I wanted to share with you, or kind of a little bit of a background. And what I want to, the topic for today is called, Where in the Harry did the because man get his because? Guys ever hear this? Well, this is very interesting because, can somebody tell me who the because man is? Who's the because man? Yeah, Jesus. Very good, thank you. He knew, like, okay, so everything that Jesus did, everything that the because man did, came out of a because, came out of something that was already there. So the question is, where did he get this love that just poured out, and that he wasn't afraid of the leper and that kind of stuff? Well, I want to tell you a little bit about that, and in order to do that, I would like, and keep in mind, let's just think a little bit about this mirror thing. You know, we all have a mirror. Jesus had one too. The because man had a mirror too. But you know something very interesting about his mirror? We're going to get to his mirror at the end. But before we do that, I need a volunteer to help me kind of illustrate a little bit the background of some of these Bible times things that were going on. I need somebody who's willing to be a friend. Anybody willing to be a friend? All right, go ahead. You come up here. Now, actually, do you have a friend in the group here? Okay, do you guys want to both come up? That'd be great. All right, now, back in the Bible times, and this was a very, what's your name?
Lena.
Lena and
Linda.
Lena and Linda. Okay, Lena and Linda want to be friends. Well, in the Bible times, there was people thought of things as in kind of different levels of friendship. There was like an acquaintance friend, somebody you kind of knew. There was all these different ideas of what friendship is, but then there was like the deepest of the deepest of the deepest of the deepest friendship. That you are so connected that nobody can tear you apart. And what I want to tell you about is was Jesus' understanding of where he got his because. So let's take Lena and Linda, for instance. They decided that they wanted to become best of best of best friends. What they would do is they would do what was called the cutting of a blood covenant. Now, in a blood covenant, you become so connected that your blood, the one person's blood, actually goes into the blood of the other person. So you guys trust each other? You want to be that close friends that... Okay, so what they would often do, they would take a knife and hold out your wrist. And they would take the knife and they would slit their wrists, and then Linda would slit her wrist too, and then they would clasp, so they would slice their wrists, and then they would hold them together like that, and they would actually mingle the blood together. So that blood from Lena would go into blood from Linda, and blood from Linda would go into blood from Lena. And now, you can't separate them. So what's happening to Linda is actually happening to Lena. What's happening to Lena is happening to Linda. And there was something else that they would do in the ceremony when they cut the blood covenant. Actually, you guys know that's where the handshake comes from. When we shake hands, you're making a good connection. You're making a friend. You're saying, I want to be your friend. Also, the way In some countries, they still practice it. You wave because you're showing the scar. You're saying, hey, that's my friend. You don't wave to your enemies. You wave to your friends, the ones that are connected close to you. The other thing they would do in this ceremony is they would make a trade. So this is a pretty nice jacket. Is that something that you wear a lot? Well, Lena would find something that was extremely special to her. It wasn't just any ordinary jacket, but she would take, we'll just use this for an illustration. You just take that off, and you give that to Linda. You don't have anything that's really easy to take off, but Linda would also find something that she would want to take off, unless you don't have a watch or something. Okay, that's fine. Well, she would find a watch or something very special to her, and they would trade an article of clothing. Now, you put that on, because Lena is making a covenant with Linda, and Linda now has an article of clothes that usually belongs to Lena. So when Linda goes walking down the street, somebody looks at her and says, that's Lena. That's not Lena. That's Linda. And they kind of get them mixed up because they were so closely connected. That's what they were showing. They were symbolizing by trading an article of clothes or something very special to them that they did not want to ever let go. And what they were saying is, I want to be your friend. If anybody does something to you, they're doing it to me. And the other thing that they did is they would share in a meal together. Do you guys like apples? All right, well, today their covenant meal is going to be an apple, so you got to take a bite out of that. And they would share a covenant meal, which they would drink from the same cup. Go ahead, and you can have a bite too. And now there is juice from the same food is going into both of their bellies. They're saying, I want to be so connected to you. If somebody does something to you, they're doing it to me. And you know that's kind of how it is with some of your brothers and sisters, right? If somebody hurts one of them, then you want to say, no, that's my brother. You can't do that. Well, that's another thing that they would trade, is they would trade weapons. So they would take, in Ephesians 6, God talks, Paul, that's another subject. We'll get to that later. We won't have to talk about that today. But sometime read Ephesians 6. It's the trading of the weapons. They would take, in those days, there was a lot of warfare going on, and people were fighting with each other. Well, when they made a blood covenant, they would take one of their weapons, and they would say, this is now your sword, and she would give her sword to Linda, and Linda would find one of her best spears or her shield or something that was really important to her, and she would trade it with Lena. So now they had swapped a very important piece of weaponry to show that when somebody does something, when an enemy comes against Linda, she's actually coming against Lena. And so Lena is now going to protect her. All right, thank you guys. You can go ahead and sit down. Now, what I want to remind us of, when we say, where did the because man get this because? When he wasn't walking around with a mirror just looking at himself. Jesus' mirror was broken. His mirror got broken. He allowed it to be broken. When you make a covenant with somebody who's higher than you or somebody who's really important, can you imagine making a blood covenant with the President of the United States or the King of Kings? Wouldn't that feel kind of good? Would you be, if you made a covenant with the President, right there? Oh, yeah, now you have to trade your jacket back. They must not want to be best friends. Sorry. Get on straight. There you go. Well, can you imagine if you had made such a close connection with the president, you would get everything that the president gets. All his things are your things, and your things are his things. So now you're so closely connected. Well, that is how the because man saw life. When his mirror got broken, he now had a new mirror. And his mirror looked like this. When he looked around, he looked at people and he saw, that looks like me. That person's hurting. They're hurting. I don't want to be hurting. I want to help them. I can't let them be hurting. And so he would look through his broken mirror, and it was clear. Can you guys see through this? Yeah. There's no blockage, right? Well, that is how the because man thought. The because man didn't get his because anywhere. The because got him. The because came from his life, from the way he saw life. And from this mentality of the blood covenant, he knew that he was in blood covenant with God the Father. Can you imagine having a dad or a mom that could beat all the bad guys in the world? You'd never have anything to worry about. Well, that's how Jesus saw life. He knew that he was in blood covenant with his daddy God. And there was nothing that could stop him. He was connected. So when he saw suffering somewhere, that was his suffering. He didn't build a wall to protect him and keep all the suffering people out. Sorry for getting political, but he said, we need to help the people that are hurting. When somebody's hurting, that's me. That's part of me. Because we're all connected in that blood covenant. That's how Jesus thought. That was the because man's way of thinking. Because I am loved, when someone's suffering, that suffering is my suffering. And he took it on himself. And that's what it means to follow Jesus. When you look around, if your mirror is broken like Jesus was, you'll look around at your friends, you'll see somebody, you'll be like, that kind of looks like me. And if it doesn't kind of look like you, you'll kind of wonder if maybe there's something you can do to help them. Because you want to be connected to them. All right, thanks for your attention, guys. That's all I have to say.